It is wonderful to be here with all of you in our beautiful Civic Center, and it's beautifully decorated. Thank you all for being here tonight in celebration of our city. Thank you to our Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight. That was such a beautiful presentation of our Pledge of Allegiance. To my colleagues on council, to Assemblymember Aguiar Curry and Congressmember Mitsui's representative, thank you for being here. And to those who serve on our commissions, and to our department managers and chiefs who safeguard our public goods and resources, and all who support our personnel who contribute so much to daily operations of the city. Thank you for your service and dedication to the community and to our Washington Unified School District trustees and personnel, and to our Yolo County Board trustee, thank you. As I look out at all of you, I can safely say I will never take the joy of gatherings like this for granted again. And with that, a much heartfelt appreciation to the Chamber and the support staff for creating this time-honored tradition to come together in celebration of the city. Every year, whether here in our Civic Center or safely gathered in the stadium, the hard work, thoughtfulness, and care for the special event comes shining through. To my honored guests, my daughter, and all of my valued partners in the work to make this city more welcoming, and your contribution to make it more prosperous and help it grow. Thank you for being here tonight and for all that you do. As I look back on the early dark days of the global pandemic, I think about the many devastating effects of the call to shelter in place. I think about the sorrow for those we lost and the emotional and economic hardships placed on so many by the deadly virus. But I feel so much pride in the community and so much gratitude for the way we all came together, despite having every aspect of our life abruptly halted. West Sacramento is a shining example of the city that knew the only way to get through this is to lock our elbows and support one another as best we could. The pandemic showed us where the deepest pockets of inequity still existed, and more importantly, directed us to where we needed to place more focus and more attention. We created new ways to connect, new ways to hold on to humanity in the face of brutal isolation and crushing loneliness. From that porch drop, neighbors helping neighbors, with deliveries of masks, food, and other essentials. Then came the porchlets and the dining al fresco, allowing us to give more support to the small businesses that are the heartbeat of the community and give the city its charm. In recognition of the inequities brought to light by the pandemic, we will establish the Equitable Investment Initiative and look forward to partnering with Yolo County as they pilot the first basic income program. We will see more investments in the Broderick and Bright communities through partnership with Habitat for Humanity in the first ever Rock the Block program that will target homes in need for rehabilitation. This year, we partnered with the California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce to provide the Business Accelerator program for those speaking Spanish, Slavic community, for those speaking English as well, for both the beginning entrepreneur and the seasoned business owner, to start and manage your own business as they seek ways to overcome inflation and workforce shortages. We will implement the Sacramento Avenue Complete Streets Corridor. The project will engage the community to assess and prioritize much needed biking, pedestrian safety, nicer sidewalks, and aesthetic improvements along Sacramento Avenue. To increase access to the existing recreational amenities, residents of the Broderick and Brighton neighborhoods will be offered free via rides to access the recreation center. Meanwhile, the plans to upgrade Broderick Bright continues. We will continue. Congressmember Matsui is seeking to secure $750,000 for the project. Thank you. Senator Pan and Assemblymember McCarty have secured the $1 million in the last year's budget, and they are working to secure the additional funding this year. Those funds will then be added to the $1.2 million ADA earmarked American Rescue Plan Act funds approved by City Council, and to an additional $2.5 million in the funding from the Yolo County American Rescue Plan allotted grant funds to mark the park's updates and upgrades scheduled for completion in 2025. We will also be directing some of those ARPA funds to invest in the Center for Land-Based Learning mobile food market. The goal is to add to the current food security efforts already happening in the Bright and Broderick area. The proposed 3-year project will offer more support for both our thriving urban farms, as you've seen throughout some parts of the city, programs that regularly feature food giveaways, and our commercial food outlets. The goal is to open up more opportunity for skill development, new business startups, and job creation, while also serving as a robust model for local action anywhere that food insecurity prevails. Additionally, we will be partnering with First 5 of Yolo County's Welcome Baby program to ensure all mothers have access to support in the home, and we will also increase financial support to the Yolo Food Bank's food distribution programs. Now, in the last 2 years, the city's home run program has expanded, and we give thanks to the Washington Unified School District and our early learning providers for your steadfast support over the years. West Sacramento can currently boast 21 home run certified high-quality preschools. From 2017 to the end of the current school year, we can celebrate 1,642 of our children completing certified high-quality home run preschool program. To increase participation for all West Sacramento families with children, we have modified the eligibility criteria and stepped up our outreach efforts, leading to a significant uptick in the number of home run college savings accounts opened. The incentives for community participation have resulted in an increase of deposits to existing home run accounts, going from 0 in 2019 to over 21,000 in 2022. The Home Run team is working with local potential employers and the West Sacramento Chamber of Commerce to offer a set of digital micro-credentials focused on the most in-demand skills for entry-level workers. The credentials are quite rigorous and with the learning content designed by the Education Design Lab in Washington, D.C. The micro-credentials will allow students to add to their savings account to apply towards their future educational endeavors through the city's Home Run Ready, Set, and Save program. As many know, the Home Run internship program was managed by an outside consultant until city staff took it in-house. This year, with the help of the West Sacramento Chamber of Commerce, we were able to offer over 70 positions with 28 employers. Ultimately, 36 continuing students and recent graduates were placed with 15 different employers. This partnership resulted in a 30% increase in student participation. The Home Run team is on the move to ensure all our youth reach new levels of success, and the City Council is so thankful for their dedication and proud of their progress with the program. And thank you to the Yolo County Health and Human Services Agency, who partnered with many of you here tonight to ensure our first priority, working together to restore the public's physical and emotional health. The moment vaccines were made available, the county went to work making vaccination stations as accessible as possible and soon followed up with access to PCR testing here in City Hall. And with that, I'd like to share my gratitude to Supervisors Gary Sandy and Oscar Villegas, Public Health Officer Dr. Amy Sisson, Healthy Davis Together and their teams for their partnership with our city staff to expedite the building of a pipeline of health and healing for all of us to be able to recover. And to our City Council, once again, thank you for your quick action to approve these investments to make sure that we can protect the health of our community. Thank you. During that 8-month partnership between Yolo County, City Hall, and Healthy Davis Together, more than 45,000 tests were processed, informing 1,434 residents which were COVID positive, which is massively constructive in helping to increase the safety of the community and reduce the spread. Meanwhile, prior to that, just outside in the parking lot, Yolo Food Bank streamlined distribution process to supply the community with much needed food boxes, and also made a City Hall a hub of resiliency and service to the community. Over the last 2 years, the city's partnership with the county has flourished, with $5.5 million received from the American Rescue Plan Act, including $3 million earmarked to address homelessness. We were able to launch Home Key 2 and continue the Downtown Streets team. And since 2020, with the new housing programs, we have been able to bring 204 previously unsheltered people indoors. Our PIT count in 2019 was 85, so 204 more than doubled housing people. Just this last year on West Capitol Avenue, West Sacramento was able to celebrate the opening of its first permanent supportive housing site with the opening of the Mercy Housing Project. 95 residents are now housed and accessing services right on the premise. So many generous people came together to help fill and furnish the units. I want to thank Chairperson Rhonda Morningstar Pope Flores. She's back there. You could stand up, Rhonda, just to recognize you. Thank you. And the Buena Vista Rancheria Miwok Indians for their generous donation of much-needed beds for every new resident. And thank you to the St. Vincent de Paul and Mercy Coalition, who worked together to fill each unit with much-needed furniture, utensils, sheets to welcome the residents home. Residents coming into Mercy Housing receive training opportunities for employment, access to treatment, support with activities of daily living skills, and mentoring by residents in recovery who have also experienced the trauma of living in the streets. Statewide homelessness does continue to be on the rise, and that includes West Sacramento. And to preserve our progress, the city will invest some of its ARPA funds matched with county funding to expand our Project Home Key program. And I am so proud the support of Mercy Coalition in their effort to replicate the successful San Jose model for a recovery cafe here in West Sacramento. Thanks to the generosity of the Community Lutheran Church on Trevor Street, the cafe will be housed in their sanctuary and will offer a place of compassion and support for people experiencing the trauma of homelessness. We look forward to seeing many of you as volunteers and providing whatever support you can to the Recovery Cafe. So as we continue forward, our West Sacramento Mobile Crisis Intervention Team has made over 1,000 contacts in 2021, linking people to services. Our West Sacramento Police Department has been the lead, making that effort. 83% of those who were able to accept help avoided the trauma of placement of an involuntary hold. The success of the Downtown Streets Team program, brought to us by Mayor Pro Tem Orozco, has been recognized through a 3-year commitment from the county. That partnership with the Mercy Coalition and countless volunteers, has resulted in yet another urban farm at the Roadway Inn, which currently serves as our Project Key home site, creating a sense of community, fellowship, job skills training, and so much more that has been needed to the individuals that are now being housed there. And more good news due to an increase in demand for services, Yolo County Children's Alliance has stepped up and branched out to expand services in West Sacramento in our Project Home Key site. We thank you for doing that. In addition, I just want to say thank you so much for your outreach efforts, such as the Thanksgiving coat giveaways, to the generous Back to School supplies event, and thank you to Mayor Pro Tem Orozco, fellow council members Early, Alcala, and Ledesma, who are always being counted on to roll up their sleeves and support Yolo County Children's Alliance with these community building events. So yes, we celebrate these accomplishments, but we know there is more work to be done. Future housing projects in motion include a low-income option set to be constructed in the summer next to the West Gateway, in the fall, in the West Gateway Place. They will break ground later this year for 60 affordable housing units, and of those 60, 6 will be permanent supportive housing units. So we look forward to more affordable housing units. City staff are working around the clock to continue to develop partnerships with developers that have a strategy for more below market and market rate projects similar to The Kind, which we're grateful for their project, including 301 D Street, which is wrapping up with 40 apartments in Washington District, and new to the region is Washington Commons. We have residents there in the back who are present to represent. They are a co-op housing option, very nuanced option. We're so proud to have them here in West Sacramento, and that project has just started construction. Black Pine Development is moving ahead with their large townhomes and multifamily projects at F and 5th Street. And also here is Liberty Development, and we have Terry Teeple here who will begin construction pretty soon. So thank you, Terry. I look forward to seeing your construction of your homes. With each new housing development, we see new crops of venues also springing up where residents can walk, bike, recreate, and enjoy a meal. So where we are now, we are back with a little more caution and care for one another, to gathering together with our beautiful outdoor venues. And after 10 years, we mark the return of Rhythm on the River at Drake's at the barn. Also, thanks to Councilmember Alcala and Unseen Heroes, we have a weekly Saturday neighborhood farmers market with local vendors, including Three Sisters Garden. We also have the Center for Land-Based Learning's innovative West Sacramento Urban Farms Mobile Market, which is bringing fresh, local, affordable, and accessible produce to every neighborhood in the city. So catch them out in the Bridge District on Sundays. For some local fun and culture, we have the Van Gogh Immersive exhibit on 15th and Jefferson. Beautiful exhibit. Soon, we will also be enjoying the Beyond Van Gogh experience coming to Sutter Health Park. Both exhibitions will draw a new look and new visitors into our city. We can also look forward to the return of Allegra Cirque du Soleil. This return to gathering in public has ushered in a new kind of normal, one that continues to include some distancing and masking as an option with respect to vulnerable populations. But what hasn't changed is the joy of being out with family and friends and the vibrance that it brings to our public spaces. And none of this would be possible without the hardworking Parks and Rec Department and event staff who work long hours to expedite permits and create plans, attracting these opportunities into our city, allowing our local restaurants and other establishments to prosper when visitors seek out and remember our many wonderful options for food, spirits, and fun. And thanks to the Safety Enhancement and Road Rehabilitation Project, West Capitol Avenue has been able to receive a much welcome facelift. Now, while I was out in Washington, D.C. at the White House Cinco de Mayo event, Mayor Pro Tem Orozco did the honors of christening our new and improved thoroughfare by bravely hopping on a jump bike in her heels and cruising down West Capitol Avenue. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Orozco. In addition, we have received $2.6 million to begin the Phase 3 expansion of the Sycamore Trail bike and pedestrian trails. This last year, we've been just receiving a lot of money. The pedestrian trails will be connecting the two neighborhoods historically separated by the US Highway 80. We are grateful for Congresswoman Matsui's leadership to secure this federal funding. Climate change is on everyone's mind, and I want to express gratitude for the efforts made by our many partners to reduce our carbon footprint. From the Habitat for Humanity's Rock the Block event, benefiting the neighborhoods of Broderick and Bright, to the environmental justice approach by Grid Alternatives, North Valley, who will provide the workforce development programs by training volunteers to install solar panels and repairing roofs for families who would otherwise not be able to finance these improvements on their own. So with their partnership in Rock the Block, we'll be installing solar panels and other green safety supplies in their homes. We have approved a multi-year financial commitment for this effort to support these construction efforts. In addition, Union House CEMEX is also helping to address the impact of climate change by delivering a net zero CO2 concrete by 2015, which will contribute to the development of climate-smart urban projects, sustainable buildings, and climate-resilient infrastructures. This last year, I've had the honor of touring the most recent companies who have made West Sacramento their home. Cummins Inc., with a focus on proton exchange membrane hydrogen fuel cells, is offering a greener solution for high-powered transportation applications like heavy-duty long-haul trucks. We're also grateful for the partnership between Sacramento Metro Air Quality Management District Board, Sierra Northern Railways, and Shell to use $4 million grant from the California Energy Commission to develop a multimodal hydrogen station that can power hydrogen fuel cell cars, heavy-duty trucks, and locomotives. And the creation of these fueling hubs throughout the city will expand access to the hydrogen fuel and reduce inner-city vehicle travel. Biotech companies have made West Sacramento their home, thanks to the efforts of the Economic Development and Housing Department. The Better Meat Company continues to expand their operations, producing a plant-based microprotein meat alternative, which has the potential to reduce the devastating effects of deforestation. Turtle Tree is using an innovative and cutting-edge method to cultivate nutritious protein-rich dairy products in a sustainable way to move the world away from traditional and problematic cattle farming. In light of the recent shortage of infant formula, I was thrilled to hear that Turtle Tree has the capability to safely and humanely produce infant formula. What a wonderful opportunity to have Turtle Tree accomplish that here in West Sacramento. Combating the effects of climate change will require commitments from all of us. We will need to change the way we do things, and in some cases, this may require hard choices. But there are some simple changes we can make now to save money on energy expenses and improve the way we live, such as composting our food waste, ditching grass for drought-tolerant landscaping, and opting to walk or bike when possible. The plug-in partnership with the West Sacramento Area Council of Governments will supply the installation of over 45 electrical vehicle charging stations citywide in the coming year. This will be key to making EV ownership more convenient option for West Sacramento commuters. Priority locations have been identified through our Mobility Action Plan to identify key workplace and multifamily locations within the city. And the city's Climate Action Plan serves as a community's roadmap to reduce greenhouse gas emissions towards carbon neutrality by 2045. We will consider substantial actions to meet established reduction targets, especially in the transportation, organic waste, and building energy sectors. An official commission draft of the CAP will be made available for the public to have a discussion in the early fall. Our goals for reducing local greenhouse gases emissions within the city are exciting and ambitious, and I want to spotlight Councilmember Ledesma for many years of effort focusing on this and his contributions in the development of our impressive climate action plan. West Sacramento continues along in the riverfront to develop an emergence of a new and beautiful landscape of restaurants peppering our riverfront. The selections are diverse in offerings, with the Midway Bar and Grill, Teriyaki Madness, the return of Broderick Roadhouse, Frankette's, the Treehouse, and the reopening of Sal's, just to name a few. These new additions to the charm of the riverfront encourage bike and foot traffic from across the river when visitors come to catch a ball game or enjoy a beautiful event at the barn. West Sacramento is helping to fill gaps in the larger areas of tourism with the opening of the Hilton Home to Suites, which lends some freshness and modernity to the West Capitol Avenue, as does the Spring Hill Suites on the farther end of the city. And possibly coming soon is a Residence Inn being proposed next door to Spring Hill Suites. I have to express my gratitude to the business community for the many cherished family-owned businesses and restaurants. To the Palmadesi family, thank you for your 87 years of stability. They provided that comfort of good food, good friends, and thousands of memories of special occasions celebrated and good causes elevated in that beautiful and historic location. We wish you a much-deserved and well-earned retirement. Most recently, the city has moved to by-district elections in response to the California Fair Maps Act that ensures the rights of people of color who have historically been disenfranchised to fair representation. District 3 and 4 will be first up in 2022, and 1 and 2 will be casting their first by-district votes in 2024. Along with the changes, we'll see the mayorship transition to four-year term beginning in 2024. And on the subject of equity, I want to shift just a little and invite Parks and Rec Director Tracy Michaels up here to share with us her role and her work to improve the community experience. In that same vein, Tracy will be followed by Police Chief Rob Strange. These two individuals have worked hand in hand to address inequities within the city by increasing access to programs and creating more direct engagement for the youth and adult populations, including our seniors, to enhance public safety, promote healthy outdoor recreational activities. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Tracy Michaels.
Thank you, Mayor. The month of July is celebrated nationally as Parks and Recreation Month, so it seemed fitting that this event is also in the month of July and provides an opportunity to celebrate and share what's already happening and what's to come for Parks and Recreation in West Sacramento. There's also a national theme for Parks and Recreation Month. This year the theme is Rise Up for Parks and Recreation. Rising up for Parks and Recreation means rising up for our community. It means rising up for equity, especially when it comes to access to recreation, health, and wellness opportunities for our residents. This month also celebrates the stakeholders, partners, and community members who, through their volunteerism, their advocacy, and philanthropy, have risen up to support a vision and investment opportunities to help us accomplish our Parks and Recreation goals. We have many partners on this path. We have state and federal partners, Yolo County, Washington Unified School District, dozens of local organizations and businesses, and hundreds of residents who show up for Parks and Recreation on a daily basis. Because of them, we have an unprecedented $73 million of investment in parks and recreation amenities in our community right now. We have over $43 million in projects that were either recently completed or are currently underway, including a new river. Yes, exciting. It's an exciting time to be in Parks and Recreation, especially following the COVID pandemic, when having access to safe and healthy outside recreation opportunities is so critical for our community. With all these great projects, we continue to deliver and expand our programming to better serve our community. We now offer full-day childcare over the summer in the north part of town, including specialty enrichment programs. We now have new free recreation programming at Bright Park, available on a drop-in basis through August, so if you haven't tried that out, come on by. As the mayor mentioned, we are offering free VIA rides to the Recreation Center for residents living in the Bright and Broderick neighborhoods. We are so excited to bring back, after a long hiatus, our summer concert series, Rhythm on the River. We were most excited that our very own River City High School Syncopating Sea Monkeys got to open for the event and did an amazing job. I expect to see all of you next Thursday at the barn for our country concert. We are bringing movies to the park with Cinema at Sundown at Bright Park in September. And we already have one of the most successful athletic league programming for youth and adults in the region, but we continue to grow. And I just have to take this opportunity to give a huge shout out to West Sac Little League, who just recently brought home multiple District 6 championships. We are so proud that we continue to serve as the largest employer for our residents under the age of 20. We have over 150 local youth that serve as your lifeguards, your camp counselors, our interns, and even volunteers with our Teen Heroes program. It's great to create early advocacy for Parks and Rec in our community. And I would be remiss if I did not mention the West Sac Goats. We are bringing them back, strategically placed throughout the entire community so they can do what they do best, which is help us with vegetation management, fire prevention, and offering endless entertainment and Instagram ops. So I could speak all night about all the great projects and programs that we offer in the community, but I'm going to close by saying we've accomplished much, but there is so much more need for what we do. And where there's more need, there's more opportunity. Through our facilities and programs, our incredible staff, our partners, our stakeholders, and our supporters, every day is a chance for us to rise up for our community. And every day in West Sacramento, through the power of Parks and Recreation, we do. Thank you. We have a very short video to highlight how we celebrate Parks Make Life Better Month in the city of West Sacramento.
Proclamation of the Mayor, City of West Sacramento, recognizing July 2022 as Parks Make Life Better Month.
Whereas Parks and Recreation promotes physical, emotional, and mental health and wellness through organized and self-directed fitness, play, and activity. And whereas Parks and Recreation creates memorable experiences through youth, sports, and enrichment activities, teen centers and programs, senior activity centers, adult fitness and enrichment programs, community events, and beyond. Parks and Recreation supports human development and endless learning opportunities that foster social, intellectual, physical, and emotional growth, including employing over 150
local youth annually as lifeguards, interns, teen heroes, and camp leaders. Parks and recreation facilities, including the Recreation Center, Community Center, Bridgeway Lakes Boathouse, Discovery Preschool, Club West, and multiple riverfront and public art features, strengthen community identity by providing facilities and services, including over 39 parks, totaling over 200 acres, 52 plus miles of trails, an urban forest of over 30,000 trees, and whereas in 2022, the City of West Sacramento is offering free transportation for North Area residents through VIA to access Recreation Center during the summer for swim lessons, recreation swim, camps, and other available programs. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the mayor of the city of West Sacramento does hereby recognize July 2022 as Parks Make Life Better Month in the city of West Sacramento.
Parks make life better! 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 Parks make life better!
Next, we will have our police chief, Rob Strange, up to share the initiatives in our West Sacramento Police Department.
Quick adjustment there. I had to bring a drink up because I don't have a great attention span most of the time, so admitting that here. So I need a little bit more energy in the room. Can you all make sure, I'm assuming you all have a safe ride home, because you're all responsible like that. So if you can, grab your glass, stand up, make sure you got something in it. Come on, you got to get out of your seat, right? You got to get some energy going, get the blood flowing a little bit. I have to use water, but you don't. You're not in uniform. Hey, let's raise our glass really quick and give cheers to the Chamber for this event and for all their support. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Now, I know the bar closed a while ago, but there's still wine, thanks, Silt. So I appreciate this opportunity. Thank you very much for sharing a few minutes of my time, or allowing me to share a few minutes of my time here. There are clearly many things that have happened and continue to happen across the city that we should all be proud of. I am grateful that I could be part of such a celebratory event like this that really does take into account so many things that are happening. Many of you who have had the chance to meet me or know me know that I'm generally upbeat and optimistic, driven and pragmatic. As my staff and even my family would tell you, though, I don't get stuck on celebrating for too long. I know that perpetually there's a lot of work to do everywhere. The reality is that we are blessed on so many accounts, but like so many American cities, we continue to face challenges. We are challenged by our differences, by our diversity, grappling to make this the strength that it can be across all communities in this city. We continue to wrestle with many aspects of difference, and at times we find ourselves succumbing to the nationwide trends that popularize divisiveness, that perpetuate polarization, and that seem justified in labeling the other as a means to supporting their strongly held beliefs. Sometimes this happens merely because the other may look different, believe different, live different. We are at a moment in which I believe that, at least in my role as a leader in policing, I have a duty, a responsibility to find ways to make positive progress through the slog of this negativity, the draining, community-dividing negativity that seems to be the opposite of progress and that seems so pervasive across the national landscape. I believe that is my duty and the duty of my police department and yours to both serve our communities and lead in our city differently, so that we may all emerge from the tensions and setbacks of today to a more equitable and unified and safe community of the future. I remain optimistic for our city, though. I believe we can buck those trends, turn the page, and be different here. As your police professionals, we have heard so many voices of dissent, of division, of demonization. The last couple of years have been hard. Those voices that would dissuade and discourage us from doing our important work, those voices are loud. Although difficult, it is our duty to listen to these voices that have the right to speak out and to try to hear and understand these perspectives and the pain that has shaped them. It is also our duty to work diligently to overcome the missteps and misdeeds of our past, of our history. However, I do not believe, or I do not see a positive path forward together if we stay stuck in the most negative aspects of our history where we hold progress ransom, where siloed enclaves of echoed thoughts grow and fester and create spaces that are the breeding ground for hatred to manifest. For the sake of our future, our children's future, our community's future, we must challenge our own beliefs at times. None of us can stand by and allow this type of unabated negativity and hatred to grow. We can see this in other communities and cities. We cannot have that here. We must be different here. I know that this divisiveness is hurting communities. It is having a negative impact on public safety. Negativity and divisiveness at the highest levels has and will continue to lead to increased violence. History has proven that time and again. We must be different, and I believe that West Sacramento can buck this trend, and we can lead differently here. I was asked to add to the mayor's address today an opportunity to contribute to this message about equity. For me to use this platform to promote the things I have initiated, efforts that I have led. Mayor Guerrero, thank you very much for this opportunity so we can talk about what we're trying to get accomplished here and how we can make that change. And although I'm honored for the chance to speak as a city leader, the reality is there's certainly many more accomplished professionals and leaders in this room. But in service and in partnership with all of you, and with your constant and enduring support, your police department and I can help be part of leading our city differently and into an amazing and thriving future. The trying times of the last couple of years have caused me to take some personal inventory, and it probably has done the same for many in this room. What I have come to realize is I am very fortunate. For the love of my family, who has endured 25 years of this ride in policing, and understanding that that sacrifice in time is about service. It's about allowing that service to happen. I'm fortunate for the opportunity to be here and meet so many of you tonight. I look forward to doing more of that as we wrap up. I'm fortunate for the trust of our council, for the support of this business community and the greater community, for the empowerment of my boss. And more than any of those things, though, when we talk about what's happening now, when we're talking about the police department, it's the great fortune that I share with all of you, that we have over 100 dedicated police department staff who care so deeply about the service they provide each hour of each and every day. So give it up for my staff, please. They do this. They do this every day for you. They do this for the most vulnerable in our community. They do this for victims. They do this for justice. And ultimately, they do this to make a better West Sacramento. A West Sacramento where everyone, no matter how you identify, can feel safe. At the police department, we are already doing some things differently. We are lowering barriers for the community to access government, for everyone. We recently began our work with Measures for Justice to bring meaningful data transparency to the city. Notably, we are doing this with the direct participation of a project advisory board comprised of membership from throughout the city, because all voices matter. We have launched an always-on community surveying tool through Zen City, focusing specifically on measuring trust in the police and safety in neighborhoods across the city. Through its anonymous submission system, everyone in our city has the opportunity to participate in contributing to the evolution of policing here. Everyone can now speak their truth to power through this process. Now I'm going to track back a couple years because it seems like it's been a minute for the last couple years. But in 2020, we're very proud to have created the Community Outreach and Support Division. You've heard a lot about their accomplishment. It continues to grow its impact across the city. This group of compassionate staff has amplified our services-first approach, expanded our co-response resources for those battling mental illness, crisis, and homelessness. We have grown vital partnerships with the Yolo County Children's Alliance, the Mercy Coalition, and the Downtown Streets team in this service. Through this process, we have helped transition over 80 individuals into the Mercy Housing Permanent Supportive Housing Project that just had its official ceremonial grand opening yesterday. And we have done all of this work for some of the most vulnerable in our community in the midst of the global pandemic. Many people stayed home. We could not remotely do this if we were to earnestly and meaningfully help and intervene in the lives of community members who desperately needed this help throughout the whole pandemic and continue to need it. And we continue to do this work wherever that crisis or that need arises, because everyone in our community matters. Recently, we launched the Chiefs Community Advisory Board, made up of a diverse group representing many communities across our city. This group has a seat with me to advise me directly about concerns they are hearing, to weigh in on policy, and to help identify the good that our great staff is accomplishing. Doing this not only because all voices across the community matter, but because we needed to have a forum where our diversity, our differences, and sometimes even divergent perspectives are not drowned out by the loudest or most threatening voices. As part of the selection process, I had the opportunity to interview many members of the greater community. That process allowed me to see clearly that this group is full of diversity and difference, but it also allowed me to see one remarkable and powerful commonality. They freaking love this place. They do. To a person, everyone expressed such just enduring love for a place called West Sacramento, a place that many didn't know about before they landed here, and have grown with all of you the love that they have for this community. They, like you, want our city to be well. They, like you, want it to be safe. They, like you, want our kids to be successful. And they, just like you, want our local government to be productive and aligned with those desires. I thank you for the opportunity to share my excitement for our future. Certainly we have challenges, but I think, as you can see through a share of the vision I have, at least in the police department, and that's just one segment of what I share with all the directors across the city and the city manager, I hope that you do share in the excitement of where we are heading. And I know that with your continued engagement, energy, and support, together, we will advance our great city and reach an incredible, incredible future. Thank you. Please give grace and be safe.
Lower this just a little bit. So that was incredible. As you can see, the incredible things that are continuing to happen here in West Sacramento. Our city is so fortunate to have top-notch personnel, and I just want to give a nice round of applause to acknowledge all of our hardworking firefighters, police officers, city workers, teachers, healthcare workers that keep us safe and come to our aid when our safety is at risk. Thank you. Thanks to Congressmember Matsui's leadership, the City of Dreams is becoming a reality. We envisioned a greener bike and pedestrian-friendly community, plentiful with trail networks And this year, we have broken ground on 3 major projects, promoting greater connectivity throughout West Sacramento. This includes the Riverfront Street extension, which has been in the works since 2015 and is now seeing construction with expected completion in 18 months. There is also the $1.8 million for Southport Levee Trail that will have 5.6 miles of new Class 1 bike path improvements on the crown of the recently constructed Southport Setback Levee located in the West Sacramento side of the Sacramento River. And this year, as you've been hearing, some of the projects in the West Acre Park will also benefit from a $7.8 million state grant to complete and rebuild the park. The Riverfront Street project will continue to be under construction through next year. That's a huge project to be able to connect individuals along the riverfront from the south side over to the barn, and for those in the north side that want to go and trail to the recreation center safely. Guided by our age-friendly action plan and many of those who developed in-house, the city was awarded the highly competitive and much sought-after Transportation Planning Award of Excellence, which will fund our Mobility Action Plan. Work continues on plans to relocate the I Street Bridge, and alongside that project is the proposed I Street deck conversion for active transportation project. The project was recommended for a $4.9 million earmark, and thanks to Congressmember Matsui for funding in the House, for making sure that the funding is in the House version. We also received a little over $3.2 million from the Sacramento Area Council of Governments to complete the final design and the right-of-way engineering acquisition for the deck conversion. And this is along the riverfront where all of our beautiful restaurants are located to attract more visitors here to West Sacramento. We have also submitted an active transportation program cycle funding application requesting a little under $18 million to complete the construction of pedestrian and bike accessible approach ramps to the top deck of the historic I Street Bridge. More good news on the infrastructure front is that President Biden plans to continue to position West Sacramento to receive flood control project funding in his proposed budget. Once again, this has been made possible by Congressmember Matsui's continued advocacy and strategic support of this critical budget request over the years. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers New Start designation will include West Sacramento in its $1 billion launch for a flood control project. So this project is $1 billion in total, and it will include the $29.2 million of approved initial funding, which gets us started on the design, and the proposed $79.7 million funding in the budget, which will help towards the construction of our current flood control project. Now I am just so honored to serve this city. As you've seen, and I continually receive the love of this city, which continues to help me boost my energy every day to serve in this rich natural beauty and history, so rich in diversity of its people. I'm continually inspired and energized by the care and compassion of my neighbors and the community-based organizations that stand up and show up when times are tough and when the need is too big for any one person to tackle. So I want to say cheers to all of us that have accomplished this together this past year, and for all we have planned for the years to come. Raising our glasses one more time. Salud.